Hello, good afternoon, and thanks so much for tuning to Maranatha TV. This is M-News live from our studios here in Ngwa, Adugono, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Maranatha TV GH. My name is Margaret Gado. Coming up in the major headlines. The Minister for Defense has confirmed that there are consultations underway to purchase a new jet for the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, in the business front, the Finance Ministry has dispelled claims that government has contracted a private company for the collection of the e-levy. Now, in the international front, the World Health Organization says the Omicron variant is spreading at unprecedented rate. These and many more stories are making the headlines for this afternoon. Now, the details. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, during his address to the European Union Parliament in France, has urged them to make vaccines available to all parts of the world and also encourage its citizens to take the jab to help fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Delivering his speech, President Akufo-Addo stated that COVID-19 has posed the greatest threat to humanity in the initial decades of the 21st century, in light of the ravages of the pandemic, which have affected all countries, rich or small. According to President Akufo-Addo, the predictions of Africa are going to be hit dramatically because of her relatively weak public health systems, with streets being littered with dead bodies when the virus reached the continent, have not come to pass. We are not given credit for quickly following the science as recommended, when many leaders in Europe were still fighting ideological battles and seeking to lay blame on the source of the virus rather than uniting to fight it, he said. The president continued, at every stage we in Africa have been dismayed to discover that every attempt was being made to make COVID-19 also an African disease. That is, the narrative emerged that it was not really that Africans were not dying from the pandemic. We had to be covering out the true level of infections. With Africa caught up in the visuals vaccine policies that engulf the world, he expressed gratitude for the donations of vaccines through platforms such as COVAX, which was good enough to send its first consignment anywhere in the world to Ghana. President Akufo-Addo reiterated would, however, potentially derail global efforts made at containing the pandemic. Till date, less than 10% of Africa has been vaccinated in comparison to the EU, for example, which, as at August, had vaccinated 70% of its population, with countries on the continent still not been able to have sufficient access to vaccines in the requisite numbers. We, like the World Health Organization, are worried that the phenomenon hoarding vaccines will worsen even further as countries begin to administer booster shots in response to the threat posed by the Omicron variant of the virus, the president said. He used the opportunity of the platform to reiterate the strong opposition of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, of which he is the chairperson, to the decision taken by the countries, including those in the EU, to single out African countries for the imposition of travel bans. In other story, the Minister for Defense, Dominic Neto, has confirmed to Parliament that consultations are underway regarding the purchase of an executive jet. According to him, the process has been triggered following a request from the Ghana Air Force for the acquisition of an additional jet to support the operations of the government and the military. Responding to questions in Parliament from North Tongue MP Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa, the Minister for Defense indicated that Parliament will be presented with an agreement for the purchase of the aircraft based on the outcome of the ongoing consultations. He said the decision to procure a new aircraft had become necessary because the current aircraft was not fit for purpose.
Mr. Speaker, however, consultations are ongoing with government, Parliament, religious bodies and trade unions on the purchase of a new aircraft for the Ghana Air Force and Ghana Navy ships to enable the Ghana Armed Forces effectively defend our nation and carry out their duties as we expect. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Air Force has been in discussion with my office for the last 1 year. But I asked them to submit a formal letter in September this year. And in October, a formal letter was submitted to my office. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Air Force does not determine the cost of the aircraft. The cost is determined when government has made the decision to purchase the aircraft and selected the vendor. The vendor will then bring the cost to us. All they have asked for is that we need a wide-body aircraft to do government business. You are sophisticating us. When I contacted both Boeing and Airbus, they told me that it would take about 3 years for them to be able to deliver a new aircraft to Ghana. What it simply means is that if I were to make a decision today and government were to have money for the Ministry of Defense to purchase an aircraft, the lead time for an aircraft to arrive will be the first quarter of 2025. This current president will not sit in that aircraft as president. He may sit as ex-president, but never sit as president.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture says steps are being taken to restrict the movement of maize and other grains from Ghana to other parts of the sub-region. This follows consistent complaints of lack of maize, in particular by poultry farmers, despite news of improved maize production by the Agriculture Minister. Back in July, the Poultry Farmers Association warned of a collapse of the industry due to a lack of maize for the preparation of feed for their birds. Speaking to the media on the way forward, Mr. Tanko noted that the ministry has made a proposal to Cabinet for the establishment of a Grains Development Authority, which will be responsible for limiting curbing the phenomenon of traders from neighboring countries coming into the country to buy large quantities of maize from Ghana. Meanwhile, the General Agricultural Workers Union is dissatisfied with the results of the government Planting for Food and Jobs program. The union says the intervention has failed and that unless it is reviewed and a new strategy adopted, it will continue to fail. Speaking to the media on Tuesday, the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Mr. Edwards, said contrary to claims by the Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Usafri Akoto, that there would be a bumper harvest this year, the situation on the ground is one of low harvest and rising costs of food. The state told the sector 2 weeks to Christmas is to be expected. We've had cause to raise concerns about the way we were running the Planting for Food and Jobs, and if we continue that strategy, the result won't be favorable. Even in the period of harvesting, we still have no food. This is against the promises and defense of the Minister of Agriculture that this year we are going to have a bumper harvest. Because there is no food, the prices of food has also gone up, even in the harvesting season, he said. Away from that story, Fix the Country movement says no exact incident has been cited by the Economic Fighters League for its decision to break away from the group, which remains a non-partisan platform. According to the movement in a press release, the attack on its reputation by their former fellow conveners has left members saddened since no specification was provided to allow them understand fully what the issues are. On Monday, the Economic Fighters League announced its decision to quit the Fix the Country movement. The league stated that its decision stems from the encroachment by persons with parochial interests on what began as a brilliant viral social media hashtag, which simply captured exactly the demands of the Ghanaian youth disenchanted with the political governance system. The league announced that its next step is to make parliamentary debate in the 2024 general elections. In response, the movement insists it is committed to mobilizing in a no-partisan manner. Despite the aspersions cast, Fix the Country movement has noted that it is appreciative of the work it has accomplished with the league to mobilize Ghanaians to push the demand for a new constitution. According to the movement, it remains open to exploring opportunities that are towards building a new Ghana based on patriotism, accountability, and honesty. Meanwhile, the Fix the Country movement has charged the youth in the country to either chart the path of the EFL, either to contest for elections or join the movement for a new constitution as part of the democratic process to make Ghana a better place. There's more news coming up shortly. Please just stay with us.
time away, living your life in affordable luxury. Here you are with Shiloh Guest House, the nation's first best ever guest house. We pride ourselves with our superior customer service and premium rooms being meant for kings and queens. Our front style eloquence speaks for itself, and we can't wait to give you a taste of a true luxury is all about. And after a night, rest is guaranteed with a Glow most comfortable bed with neat and good mattresses with twinkle surroundings and warm atmosphere. The whole family to dive in, come rain or shine. Businessmen or women, parents and kid alike, get away with the reward of free Wi-Fi. The environment beauty is uncomparable. Shiloh Guest House is just in Teshinunwa Estate near A Life Junction. For further enquiries, you can contact us on 0241 972076, 0558 414718 and 0555 940 103. Shiloh Guest House, rests and quality assured.
Welcome back from the commercial break. It's now time for business. The Finance Ministry has dispelled claims that a private company has been awarded a contract to collect funds generated from the much debated electronic transaction levy. In a statement issued on Monday, the ministry clarified that the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA), as a state agency, is the only institution going to provide the collection services at a fee that will not exceed the standard cost of revenue mobilization. According to the Finance Ministry, GRA will manage all discussions to ensure full deployment of their current platforms and resources for the collection of the e-levy. Also, the ministry debunked assertions that an allocation of 241,933 cedis under the electronic transaction levy, which is the e-levy in government 2022 budget, has been removed from the final appropriation act. The North Tongue MP Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa made this revelation on his Facebook timeline on Saturday. However, in the statement, the Finance Ministry wrote these allegations are all untrue. It added that on Monday, December 6, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta provided full clarification on the earmarking of 241 million cedis as the e-levy services fee. Since Mr. Ofori-Atta announced government decision to introduce a 1.75% levy on all electronic transactions effective January 2022, the country has been divided on accepting the initiative. Although government has argued that it is an innovative way to generate revenue, opposers, including the minority in parliament, and some economists maintain that the move will intensify hardship of Ghanaians. The attention of the Ministry of Finance has been drawn to social media publications claiming that government has dropped the allocation of 241,933 Ghana cedis for the e-transaction levy services in the 2022 budget, and it will therefore not appear in the appropriations bill. Additionally, the ministry is aware of allegations making the rounds that a private company has been awarded a contract to collect the e-levy. Another allegation is that the services of the said private company have not been abrogated. Still on business, the real estate industry in Ghana, which has been affected negatively by the COVID-19 pandemic, are very much confident of a Yuletide boom despite the Omicron concerns. The real estate industry in Ghana was negatively impacted by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite this, players in the space were confident of a boost this year following the availability of vaccines, which proves to have a level of efficacy. However, with the news of the new Omicron variant of the virus, what are the prospects for businesses in the space ahead of the festivities, which normally is the peak season for them? 2019 saw a major boom in the real estate industry in Ghana as the success of the year of of retail team saw a spike in demand for homes, both for rent and purchases by a lot of people from the diaspora. However, the sector took a nosedive due to the outbreak of the pandemic in Ghana last year. COVID-19 and its associated restrictions prevented a lot of foreign customers who were major clients of the real estate business from coming into the country. However, things began to pick up as many countries began to open after rolling out vaccination campaigns. It appears business seems to be picking up for real estate players like Mekasa, an online real estate platform. The Ghana Airports Company Limited recently announced that airlines that brought international passengers who were not fully vaccinated into the country at the Kotoka International Airport would be charged $3,500 per passenger. This forms part of measures to curtail an outbreak of the Omicron variant of the pandemic in the country.
Coming up next is foreign news. Please stay. Welcome back. Now in the foreign front. The World Health Organization has warned that the new COVID-19 Omicron variant is spreading across the globe like never before.
Cases of the heavily mutated variant have been confirmed in 77 countries, but at a press conference, the World Health Organization chief, Tedros, said it was probably in many others that had yet to detect it. But Tedros said he was concerned that not enough was being done to tackle the variant. The Omicron variant was first identified in South Africa in November, and the country has since seen a surge in infections. President Cyril Ramaphosa has tested positive for COVID-19 and is currently isolating with mild symptoms. A number of countries have introduced travel bans affecting South Africa and its neighbors following the emergence of Omicron, but this has failed to stop it from spreading around the world. In other developments, more than 800,000 Americans have now died from the coronavirus, the highest recorded national death toll from the global pandemic. Meanwhile, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson won backing for COVID passes in England despite the bids.
Let's now do some entertainment. Ghanaian video vixen and actress Efia Odo, who has very strong opinions and refuses to accept the social norm, has landed in the merciless arena of Nana Aba Anamoah and Sewa Amihie.
A few hours ago, Efia Odo, who might be a part-time scientist behind the scenes or without the general public's knowledge, rubbished the effectiveness of the controversial COVID-19 vaccine. In a tweet from her that has since received public backlash, she argued that she's not taking any unapproved vaccine, neither today nor tomorrow. She went on to argue that malaria has killed more people than COVID-19, so she finds it absurd for the government to force the citizenry to take the vaccine. Nana Aba Anamoah and Sewa Amihie, who are part of the top celebrities to have endorsed the whole vaccination process, have come at Efia Odo for trying to throw dust into the eyes of the general public. In a counter tweet, she subtly labeled Efia Odo as an ignorant bogey and also entreated her to stay quietly in her room rather than trying to sound woke on the internet. Sewa Amihie, who is Nana Aba Anamoah's goddaughter, also took to her Twitter timeline to throw her weight behind her godmother's sentiment by entreating Efia Odo and her cohort to shut up if they do not want to take the COVID-19 vaccine.
Let's end with a recap of the top stories.
The Minister for Defense has confirmed that there are consultations underway to purchase a new jet for the Ghana Armed Forces. Now in the business front, the Finance Ministry has dispelled claims that government has contracted a private company for the collection of the e-levy. Now in the international front, the World Health Organization says the Omicron variant is spreading at unprecedented rates.
For more updates, you can follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Maranatha TV GH. Once again, my name is Margaret Kado. Thanks for watching and do stay tuned for more of our programs.